will be recorded and I will send it out to an entire list of people. Okay, so this is a special webinar for Online Trading Central. It's a Viper event, and basically it's about come see the new power dots and our new AutoFibs. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars I have, live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Now, don't you hate going to webinars where they spend like 20 minutes talking about, whatever, sports or, you name it. But let's just get started with the webinar. How's that? All right, so what I'm going to show you first off, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the history of Viper Trading Systems. So right here, you should be able to see a screen coming up. And that screen says, trade with confidence, Viper. Trade with precision, Viper Trading, and then trade with Viper. Now, one thing, how many of you really think that in life that you should just be able to have things handed to you? You just walk up and somebody says, okay, here's $500. Thank you for being so good looking today. And you're being paid for just being you. That doesn't happen, does it? So the whole thing about making money in trading is that you can have dreams and they will work if you'll work, okay? Now there's no guarantees on trading. I can promise you this, that if you've looked at futures trading, you'll find out that about 90-some-odd% of people fail at futures trading. Okay, that's kind of a somber deal, isn't it? So basically about 13 years ago, my business partner and I, Charles Boyle, started Viper Trading Systems in 2009. So that's been, 14 years ago now. Okay, and we just kind of got a few traders together and wanted to trade futures, and we started trading futures with eSignal. Well, pretty soon we found out that to trade futures, you really needed some kind of way to tell, where your trade really is. So at that point in time, we literally started developing Viper Trading Systems, and it started out kind of small, just some indicators and things like that. Today, 14 years later, we have a tool called Object Trader that will actually take the trades for you, manage the trade for you, and it's a great tool. I use it every single day of my life. Okay, so this is just us right here, and let me go down to the next page here. Okay, now everything starts out basically, just you got to plant the seed. Little plant starts to grow. Well, that's what happened with Viper back in 2009 when Charles and I started the company. We literally had like 6 traders with us. We wanted to just trade with a few people. I still had a full-time job. Charles still was working full-time, and we started trading. And then as things went on, it started growing. Okay, just like anything. If you put the work into it, your dreams can come true. Okay, so then Viper basically, this is a little bit of the history of Viper. I already went over that. Now what we're going to talk about today is going to be power trend setups, and we've got a new tool. How many of you used an AutoFib before? You like an Auto Fibonacci? Don't you hate just drawing on your charts and having to draw it and then, put it back on and draw it again and put it back on? Well, this AutoFib will just simply go on your chart and it tells you where the trade is. Okay, so this is a powerful little tool that we've got. So we use basically our tools, the colors on the screen, different things like that to get the trade. But it's very important that you wait for the trade to come to you. If you'll wait and be patient, those trades will come to you. So today we're going to talk about power trend setups using AutoFib. We're going to actually talk about trading uptrends using the power dots and AutoFibs, and we're going to talk about trading downtrends using the power dots and AutoFibs. Okay, and there's not a follow-up webinar, by the way. The end of the webinar is what I meant to put here on this one. At the end of the webinar today, some lucky trader is going to get 1 year of Viper Trading Systems, which if you go to our website, you'll find that it's $3.99 a month on the regular fee, and that's nearly a $5,000 bill. So, and not only that, you'll have one of the greatest trading rooms around. My people tell me that all the time, that we do really, really good on our trade calls. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to a chart. And I want to show you some things about Viper before we get started here. Okay, basically, you're going to notice on any chart, you've got this notion of swings, thrust, retrace, thrust, right? Now, we've got these tools that'll tell you which side of the trade to stay on, but you also have to look at the overall trend too, so that you can get on the right side of it. Now, this is like 5 o'clock in the morning right here today, okay? So let me ask a couple of questions. How many traders would jump in this trade right now? Probably, hopefully, none of you, right? Because you already missed it. You missed the thrust. So the whole idea of trading with Viper Trading Systems is you got to get the retrace. Okay, so what I've developed with Viper Trading Systems, and we've got a really good programmer nowadays. We have a tool called AutoFib. You can actually just click it, and you click a swing. Okay, you can click whichever swing you want. Keep in mind that if it's a little bit larger move, you're looking for a 50% retracement. If it's a little smaller move, you're looking for probably 61 or so. Okay, so when you put this on your chart, you'll notice that this actually puts these little boxes, and that's telling you where these Fibonacci's are, okay, which is pretty cool. All right, and you can even go back to the regular fibs like that. You can turn it off. You can actually go to your next swing, check it here instead. That looks like a pretty good 1, 2, 3 to me. So I'd probably be looking for a trade with this type of a move right about here. And keep in mind, if you draw on your charts and wait for the trade to come to you, then you'll do pretty well. People that chase trades, they'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and the thing's already running, and they go, doggone it, I got to get in that trade, I'm going to miss out. Well, maybe. But if you will wait for the trade to come to you based on Fibonacci's and also our indicators, you'll probably do pretty well in your trading. Okay. Now, this is just to show you the trade setup. We have another tool that's a strategy in NinjaTrader. It's called Object Trader. It's just simply a strategy that you put on your chart. We're going to do this in playback because at this time of day, we're not going to be getting any data, right? Okay, so we'll put it in playback. And Object Trader is simply a strategy that goes in NinjaTrader, and it pops up on this side of your chart. Bear with me a second, I've got a different size monitor here. And it goes on this side of your chart, and you can actually have it ready to go for your trade. Okay, like for instance, if I wanted to get a power dot type trade on this one right here, I can just simply say, you know what, I want a power dot trade, trend power dot. We're not going long. Now let's diagnose the chart though, okay? What if oil decided to break this swing right here and come back and kiss it? Would that then be a long? Yes. And we'll teach you that in our room all the time, because we would be ready to take that trade if it broke. But when you're looking at trading, anybody in the room, basic trading, you know the definition of a downtrend? And keep in mind, that's pretty basic. So if you don't know that, you better learn it before you trade. Okay, the definition of a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows, right? So if they broke this right here, would they be heading down any longer? And the answer is no. Now, what if they just barely break it, something like this, and then roll over? Then it's still a downtrend. But if they broke this here, like let's say they come up through here and broke this, changed our background and everything, and then came back and kissed, would we be taking a long trade then? Absolutely. Okay, and that's how we run that trading room too. You're going to find out that there's some really, really good trade calls. I run a trading room 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, except for holidays, of course. And we open the room at 10 minutes till 8 Central Time. The trades are called in real time so that you have plenty of time to mark your charts up or get Object Trader ready or whatever. You can use Chart Trader if you want. You know, we don't care on that. You've got the strategy if you want it, but you don't have to use it. You know, I've got people that use both. You know, chart trader, if you want to do some ATM strategies, you can do that. But with object trader, I can actually start, let's say I want to do 2 contracts. If it gets up here into my fib and I just turn on my power dots, then it'll automatically get me in the 2. It'll put a stop at 15 ticks. It'll put a target at 12 and another target at 20. I can change that on the fly. What if I wanted 15 ticks and maybe I want to go for like 30 ticks? I can just change that. And of course, when I get in the trade, it'll do exactly what I tell it to do. Okay. So let's see, there's 2 AutoFibs on the top. You know why I do that, John? It's actually the same indicator, but I kind of like to have just a mindset of when I'm looking for a short, I like red boxes. When I'm looking for a long, I like the blue boxes. It's just psychological. So I put 2 on mine. You don't have to. My template that I have on the website does have the 2, but you don't have to use but one of them. They're fibs, that's all it is to it. It's just that I like when I do a short Fibonacci, I like the red box because it tells me which direction I want to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll start this up here real quick. And by the way, any questions, go ahead and put them in the question log because I'm more than happy to help you. Watch our Fibonacci will actually move in real time. See it? Moved in real time. Now your 50 is right here, isn't it? Now let me ask you a quick question before we get in this trade. Where would your stop be? Very important, because if this is going to trend down, it's got to get a lower high than this. That's not a if, that's an absolute must get a higher low, a lower low, pardon me, lower high than that. Because if it's going to trend up, it's going to take this out. Everybody see that? So what you're looking for is you're looking for a retracement. Now notice that I've actually got my Fibonacci's right at 50% right here. Amazingly, that's even at a swing, see over to the left. So that's kind of telling me that, maybe that's actually going to turn out to be a pretty good trade. Now, see what happens if you chase a trade? See what just happened? You don't want to do that. You want to get in these trades and get these good trades, and that power dot will actually fire. You can actually fire it anytime you're ready to fire it. Like right there, see that came up and hit our 50? You can fire it with the manual. Okay, let's see. Pat says, I just wanted to write this in case you wanted to share with the room. I'm guessing a lot of folks in here, Gary's system and trade room are the best out. Well, thanks, Pat. That's kind of me scratching my own back, but I totally agree with you because we run a very, very good trade room. Okay, now let me ask you a question. You want to make money trading? You don't move your stops, you move your targets. Okay, targets are important to move. Where's this trade going real quick? Anybody know what a measured move is? Thrust, retrace, thrust. Let's see where it's going. That's a thrust. That's a retrace. And this would be a thrust. See it right here? So this would be an area that you probably want to take at least a contract off. Do I find that our system works better with certain futures contracts, Quincy, on your question? Well, basically in our trading room, I didn't go over that. I apologize for that. We trade oil, which is the CL. We trade gold, which is GC. We trade YM, which is YM, it's the mini Dow. And we trade ES, which is the S&P 500. Now, can you trade other instruments? I've got traders all over the world that trade NQ, they trade, 6E, they trade ZB, just whatever. They can trade whatever they want. Okay, so basically, you're just going to use the same thing that we teach every single day on every single instrument. Now, NQ is probably a little fast for 4-range charts, but if your computer's fast enough, they work. Look at that beautiful, right there at that measured move. Isn't that a good place to take out one of your contracts maybe? You just did. Now, one thing, right now my son and I are actually kind of trading together at 6 a.m. in the morning before we open the room and everything, because I'm teaching him stuff he's probably forgotten over the years. So basically, what you want to do if you want to be well off in trading, see that P&L right there? Could you just say, you know what, that's pretty good. Maybe we want to stop. You see what I mean? Because you're always going to get a retrace of some kind. It just never fails in trading. And when you think it's going to stop where you think it is, it might go deeper. Okay. So now here's another thing that we've got with Viper Trading Systems too, which I really like, and that is the fact that if you draw what I call lightning on your charts, like so, let's draw the lightning 2. Lightning 2, notice that you could put your stop right there where that swing is. See there? I could actually just put it right there. Exit on close if I wanted to. But as long as that swing holds and it gets a lower low again, guess what? You're sticking with the trade. Everybody see that? Pretty cool system. Okay? You're just simply now writing the trade. We've also got what we call a trailing stop, which automatically will trail. What if I said, you know what, I just want to trail line 5 here? Well, I can go to my power trend, go to line 5, engage my trail, and there's my stop. And I can trade this as long as it doesn't take that out. That's called a trailing stop. Now see, we're getting a little bit of a retracement right now. Does that concern you at all? Not if you trade a Viper. Look at that beautiful rollover. Could you add one? Sure. It kissed exactly at a swing. Could you add one? Yeah. Then look, your P&L starting to get a little bit nicer. Yeah, it was a little bit better than that, wasn't it? Let's see if this holds. We're in 2. Let's go ahead and do a power dot short. If it gets one, there you go. All right, notice then you're in a little bit better. Okay, it's really that easy. Now, we can also tell by looking at our charts when the trend will change too. Okay. Now, I don't get up personally at 5 o'clock, but my son and I do get to trading at 6 a.m. We traded this little trade right here this morning. The way we traded this was just simply, I'm just going to close this out. We were watching this and we said, you know what, that looks like that's breaking down. I'm going to put my stop right there. I'm going to add a contract based on like my region auto. I can actually do that. If region auto actually goes below that by a tick, see there, it'll actually add a contract if I want. I can even add more if I wanted to, see there. And you can add up to your maximum contracts. Now your maximum contracts can be set on the fly, which means that you can actually have this set, like let's say if you traded 5 contracts to give an example, okay? You can just turn that on, it's that easy. Okay, now I haven't been watching the trade as much. I'm trying to show you some of the tools too, okay? Now keep in mind, 5 contracts will definitely get you on the right side of the trade really quick or on the wrong side of the trade really quick, okay? But notice that your little lightning area kind of held, didn't it? They'll wick them, but they won't take you out of these trades. And then you get a pretty nice trade, okay? What if you said, you know what, I just want $1,000 for the day and I'm willing to stop when it gets there? Well, just hold your finger on the close trigger. Because once you get to your figure, you can just simply hit close. Now, like today, for instance, when my son was trading, he only did 2 contracts. And when he got $530, when he was at 500 is pretty much when he hit the button, but 530 is what he actually got for the day. And you can do this same thing with our software. We have got some really, really, really good software, okay? Now, what if you said, you know what, I'm not in a trade yet, Gary. Could you use the same analogy that I just did and get in the next one? Let's see if we can get $1,000 first, and then we're just going to kill it. And then we're going to try to get in one more time. Okay, let's see if we can get 1,000 first. There's 1,000. That's good enough. Done. I don't care if it goes lower, right? It goes lower. Do you care? Not if you're looking for dollars. Now, what if you said, doggone it, I missed a good trade? Well, Stick your fib back on there, right here. That's a pretty short move, so I'd be looking for a 61 on a case like that. So I'd probably be looking for a power dot, trend power dot, and well, it already did it, so we're gonna get in that trade anyway. Cause see I missed it because I'm running it at 15 times normal speed. Okay, but there's your 1320 even. See how that power dot printed? It'll fire that trade if I would have had that turned on. Since I didn't have it turned on, obviously it wouldn't. Okay. So again, these are some pretty cool tools. You can put your stop anywhere you want it. If you want to trade this thing for the gusto, you want to just really go for the gusto, and you know about where it's going, go to your 30 range chart, for instance, and look to the left to trade the right. Where was it overnight? Wow, it's taken it out. Let's look to the left further. We don't have any left further. So aren't we doing pretty good on this trade? See there? How many ticks do you use for a stop, Brian? What I personally like to do, and this is my personal way of trading, is I like to use these swings. Now, see how this is actually starting to stair step back up? Now, we've got 3 on, so while I've been talking, we probably should have taken some off, but it looks like we're still okay. You put your stop just right above that swing. See that little swing right there? Just let it back a ways and see if you can get a decent trade. If it takes you out, it takes you out. See, you're out. Turn on the power dots again, see if we can get another trade. Maybe we don't want another trade, do we? Well, there's one. Let's put a nice tight stop on it and just see if we can get. And by the way, we've also got a feature on here that will actually reverse the trade too. But look, we just got 12 ticks just then real easily. Okay. Now, let me show you something. I teach a trading room 5 days a week. Okay. So basically, we start that room at 7:50. So I'm going to fast forward this chart, and we're going to go to 7:50. Bear with it just a moment. And now let me ask you a question. What kind of a trade are you looking for there? Well, did it break resistance? It broke our lightning, 1, 2, 3. It broke up. Could you be long on that trade? Sure. But keep in mind, you can also wait for the power dot. Yeah, we'll take that trade in a heartbeat, but we weren't open yet. I'm being fair about this. We just opened right here. So what were we looking for? Well, I drew on my charts for everybody in the room. Said, you know what? There's your swing. There's your Fibonacci. There's a 50 right there. Put your line right there at the 50, right there, and see if you can get a trade right in that area right there. Just, yeah, retracement. That's what it is all about. Okay. Now, keep in mind another thing you can do, and a lot of our people do, is they simply scalp. For instance, what if I just want to do 10 ticks, all my contracts on 10 ticks, and like say I want to do 3, okay? Then I can just simply get in this trade the moment it touches that 50, okay? And then see if I can get 10 ticks. If I miss it, I might lose a little bit, but that is a Fibonacci, so it's one that we teach. Let's see, can you please let me know what the SD button is for? Absolutely. Matter of fact, let's just use the region, insert. We're gonna get us a little trade right in here. So we're gonna do long inside, and turn on our LD. Now, LD means long disabled. If I turn this on, that means it's enabled. So if that gets inside that box and touches the bottom of that box, it will fire that trade. I can also do an offset. Maybe I want to get it 2 ticks before it does that. Okay. And I can even set my offset where it doesn't change, so I can use that offset again and again. Okay. Now, this was an actual trade called in our room this morning, and I've got people in my room that are just happy as a lark to get $300 or $400 in a day. Because if you think about it, $400 a day, 5 days a week is $2,000 a week. Multiply that times 52. Well, let's say you take 2 weeks vacation, so let's just multiply it times 50. That's $100,000 account. Now, let me ask you a question. I know some of you are lawyers and doctors and all that, and we're talking about normal people. Most of America does not make $100,000 a year. Now, it may seem like peanuts to some of you. It's low for me because I trade, but $100,000 a year, I would have killed for that. Well, not really, but when I had my TV and appliance stores for 25 years, I would have given anything to have made $100,000 a year. But I had overhead, I had workman's comp, I had advertising, I had rent, I had utilities, I had employees pay, I had my own pay, I had interest expenses on product that I was selling. I mean, there was no upside to retail. It's brutal. So don't go into it if you're not in it. Okay, because retail is something that you really, really don't want to be a part of, in my opinion. Okay, now watch this. If this does come down in here like this will actually fire that trade. And I could even turn this one on now, just in case it decides to come out of it. See there? I could even fire another one if it happens to touch my box. See there? We just got ourselves another like 300 bucks, I think, or 200. I didn't watch it. Okay, that's it. That's how easy this is to trade, especially with my AutoFibs, because unlike the fibs that you've got on your NinjaTrader, these fibs move in real time. Okay, to give you an example, let's say, well, let's just see what this goes to, just a second. And then we're going to do an AutoFib and see if we can get a trade. We're not in anything. See how that won't fire because it's not turned on. This is right at the open, which we warn people all the time, be careful with. Okay. Now, is that a short yet? Let me ask a quick question, because I've got Viper traders in here that go, nope, that's not a short yet. This is actually what we call a phantom. Now, if I remember right, it went a little bit deeper this morning, but we still took the trade because it absolutely fired with our trend dots. Okay, now look at your Fibonacci. Let me get rid of these lightning right here real quick. Okay, where's your swing? Right here, right? There's your high. So where's your Fibonacci start on a bigger move? Now remember earlier we were trying to get this little mid band. That would be that move, retrace, thrust. See how that works? But since this is going deeper, where's our Fibonacci? Well, let's see. We just click on the good old AutoFib, click the button, and we say, okay, there's 61%. That's pretty good. There's a swing. What's the rule of thumb if it's going to head up, everyone? If the rule of thumb was lower highs and lower lows on a short, what would it be on a long? Wouldn't it be the opposite? Right? So what swing needs to hold on this little puppy this time around? Pretty much. Now, it doesn't mean it can't just wick it. Higher highs and higher lows. That's exactly right. So let's draw our line right here. And we got another one right here. See your 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to draw 2 lines. And that's at a 76 from that move. Let's just see if we could actually get into a trade. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my power dots. Actually, I'll just turn on the auto region instead. So we're going to turn on auto region, hit insert. Now, if that goes above that box by 0 ticks, it will fire a trade. I can do what's called auto on this. This is pretty cool. Let me show you this. All right, let's say that I want a total of 3 contracts, okay? But I want to do them one at a time, okay? So 1 quantity, 3 max, okay? So if that hits the top of that box, it will fire a contract, okay? This is right at the open. So there's a little trade right there. But look, it went deeper, took us out even. See how it did that? So we went in again and we got that trade. Now, I did this at like 50 times. So see how that hit that line exactly? I had that drawn in the trading room this morning so people could actually see that they were still looking for a long right here. And when you look at the chart, you think, well, wait a minute, Gary, you've got a mid band that's turning magenta. That's a short trade. What's the left tell you? Don't listen to the left on everything, just my left. That's a joke. Okay, see how this is? Thrust, retrace, thrust. This little swing held. All they did was wicked it. We went long there. And we got a monster trade too. That's all you got to do in your trading is just exactly like that. Is this like a box trade? This is a box trade. Now notice, I'm going to go ahead and, we're not going to fire a trade, we don't care. But let me just show you how the little region will draw every 2 bars in real time. See how it's drawing with those 2 bars each time? So could you get ready to turn that on? You know, for instance, if it pops up above like that, see how that did just then? Got you a nice little trade. What kind of a fib was that? Well, let's look. I can kind of eye these pretty well, but I think that was a 61. Not now because it went up higher. See how my AutoFibs moves? But it was right there. Is that pretty cool? Okay. Let me see if there's questions coming in. Is Object Trader fully automated? No. No, and the reason for that is because you want to train your eyes to see the trades and take the trades and get nicely green and turn it off. If you looked at these dots, would every one of these dots work? No. But would they work if you married them to Fibonacci's and swings? Yes. Now keep in mind, I was going this thing at like 50 times normal speed, so we didn't get that when we wanted to, but we did in the room this morning because it didn't move that fast. Okay. Now let me show you something on another instrument here real quick. This is going to go to 0, but I'm going to show you gold. Bear with it a second. And let's see if the same thing worked. Okay, we started the room at 7. I usually open it at 7:45. It's in the GoToWebinar, it says 7:50, but I always open the room about 5 minutes early. Okay, so basically you had this trade before the room was open. This is called a deep retracement mid-band trade. Look at your fib and I'll bet that's a 38 on that big move. You want to bet? Let's just see. Yeah, 38, almost 50. It actually came really, really close to the 50. So that's a perfect trade setup. Okay. Now, where's your next fib? Was from here. So since we've got this not in real time right now, we're going to go ahead and draw it with the manual fibs instead. See what I mean? How many calls do I make a day? As many as there are on the charts. Because we like to get in trades and do quite well on our trade calls. Look at this trade, 50% on the money. See there? Now our AutoFib would stay with that. What's your next Fibonacci? Well, you could go from here, right? We haven't had a phantom yet. And we get phantoms all the time. Now I'm going to tell you what a phantom is, because a phantom's a deep retracement before a trend change. But a phantom, as a rule, is going to change. Well, a phantom has to change the background, like so. See that background change right there? Now what we do on this trade right here is to simply box it in. We've got a little box I showed you, but let's just pretend that we got this trade, because I did call it this morning in the room live. That's a phantom trade right there. Your stop's at line 0. So you already know where your stop is. And off it went. And off it went. Monster trade, by the way. That was called live. This wasn't like, oh, wow, look at that trade we could have gotten. No, in that room, you'll hear ES called, you'll hear gold called, you'll hear YM looked at, not called as much, because we use YM mostly for ES. But you'll hear it on gold, you'll hear it on oil, you'll hear it on your ES. Okay, the market moving like power dots, mid-band, phantom trades, fibs, etc. Yeah, and keep in mind, this doesn't take you that long to learn this stuff. You know, how many of you have actually gotten systems? I'm not going to name a vendor, but there's a particular vendor that you can literally get about 235 indicators. Okay, how do you know how to put them on your chart? How do you know where to take the trade? So they'll have webinars and they'll go, well, this is how you did it this week. We don't change a thing. We trade a 4-range chart every single day on our 4 instruments. And that way, yeah, I won't mention the vendor, but some of you are saying it. Okay. Mike, it's not complicated. Keep in mind that nothing's complicated once you learn it. Okay. I taught my son to trade back in, I think it was around 2006. Was that right, Linda? About that? About 2006 when he was building a house. No, he wasn't building his house then. When was it? Because we moved in this house. We moved here in 2011, so it was in at least 2011 or 13. And I never forget what he said to me. And he's not a young guy as far as it goes, because I'm 70 years old, so you can kind of figure my son's, even at that time was in his 30s. Now he's in his mid 40s. But he said, Dad, this is like drinking through a fire hose. So you know what I told him? All you got to do, even with a fire hose, is take that old wrench, turn the water down, right? The fireman's going to use full blast so he can put the fire out. But if you want to drink the water out of that fire hose, you better turn it down. Otherwise, it'll just blow your head off with a stream of water, right? So that's kind of an analogy to let you know that nothing's any harder than you make it. And plus, you don't have to learn all this. When I say to box in, when this was like this and I said, we've got a phantom setting up, box it in, our people knew to take that trade literally just as soon as it took out that little box. So could you have done that with Chart Trader? Sure. You don't have to use this. We like it because it kind of controls your trade. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit more about Object Trader just so you'll know. Okay. We have designed what are called power dots. They're part of the Object Trader strategy. You just simply choose them. And they're really good on that first thrust and pullback. See that right there? Not too shabby. Okay. What about the short side of it? Power dots. Long to short, power dot. Boom. See there? So a phantom trade is a fake out trade continuation in a trend. Well, a phantom trade is literally a deeper retracement. See, basically what you're looking at, keep in mind there are actually 4 trends on your chart. Okay. Those 4 trends, once they break what we call micro, they will go down and check the medium swings. Okay. But until they break micro, you stay with the trade. Okay. For instance, this gold, let me show you something here. Look how gold did this morning. This was called right here. See gold there? Pretty good to have stayed with it, wasn't it? Is it going to break down? That's a phantom, but look at your line in the sand long short right there. It's breaking down. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a power dot. There's your power dot, and you got you a little trade. See if it stays. Might have taken you out, but you got 10 ticks. There's another power dot right there. You get another trade. What do the colors of the power dots, blue, green, etc.? Well, what those are actually doing, Franz, on your question, those are actually telling you that the trade, for instance, like on this one, gold was more in a tear to the upside, so you might not have even taken this because we actually called the long here in the room. But the power dots are blended in with the color of the background and, pardon me, the mid-band. So blue and green is simply a deeper retrace on the blue, and these are just called power dots. They print about every little micro swing. Okay, and you don't want to take those all the time. Look at that beautiful. That, by the way, if you were in Viper Trading Room today, you got that trade. Pretty good system. Now I'm running this at like 100 times, so it's running really quick. Now we close that room at 10 o'clock. What if you said, you know what, Gary, I heard your trade call. You got that mid-band trade. Let's say that was your first and only trade of the day. You got in at like 1935. Let's say you got in at 1935, 40 even. All right. Where'd you get out of the trade? You just simply watch your swings, watch your swings. And it's kind of taking that out right there, isn't it? And then put your swing there. If it takes it out, you get out of the trade. You can go back in, got you another trade, mid-band trade. So how much is that? That's all the way to 1940 from, what do we say, 34.40? That's almost, what, 56 ticks? This little trade here, if you got out at the swing, see your high, your low, your lower high, this is kind of telling you that they're losing steam when they take out lightning. This will turn red. And that's where you're at as of my data that I've got right now. Okay, let me see other questions. My wife's pointing out some, just a second. How do you know where to start the thrust retrace measurement relative to more minor thrusts? Well, the minor ones you want to be careful of because the main traders are looking more at the full thrust. Like, see, here's a high, a low, and a higher high. So I would start a fib right here, like that. Okay. Now, if you were doing more of a full thrust, see, like this right here, big thrust, you can actually do another fib from down here. I'll just do it in the short color just to show you. There's your big thrust. And on a thrust like that, you expect about a 38% pullback because that's a big thrust. Okay. Now, one thing also keep in mind too, though, that we trade from this time here to this time right there. That's all we trade. Okay. Because you don't need any more than that. Because look back and you'll see when I open the room, our traders got that trade, boom, that's a $500 bill. They got this trade, got 10 ticks, that's a $200 bill. Got this trade, stair-stepped up, stayed with it, took it out. See what I mean? Just those two trades alone and you're done for the day. But there's still more trades to go, right? Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Because we're coming right on 4 o'clock, but I think we're here till 4:15. Let me see if I'm missing anybody. Yeah, keep in mind that with these power dots, you still want the fibs. Now, the beauty of the Fibonacci's that I've designed here, I went to my program and I said, you know, I want an AutoFib because let's face it, don't you get tired of drawing fibs on your charts? You know, like you draw here, you know, you say, okay, there's my fib. And then all of a sudden they're way up here, so you have to redraw your fib. Well, our fib will just keep drawing for you. The room opening Eastern time, Mike, is, well, you would be in Eastern time, you'd be right at 8:50. We do have some PDF, like rules of taking trades, like a little booklet that Charles and I wrote years ago, and that's in the members area. But I'll tell you one thing, you can absolutely come in with us to our trading room and get pretty good shape, I would think. We've got lots of traders all over the world. Let's see, using, just a second, how do you know where to enter on the mid-band trades? Well, the mid-band trade, again, you want your Fibonacci. You know, like to me, from here to here, that looks like a 38, and that's a pretty good size move. Let's see if it is. I'll tell you which one to go for in the room as we're trading. Well, we can't use the auto because it's all the way up there. Sorry about that. So here's your swing. Let's get rid of that one. I turned it on again accidentally. All right, that did that because I'm trying to run two fibs at the same time. Let me get rid of it. There we go. All right, so what kind of a retracement was that? Well, it's a 50. See, they're a perfect 50. Andrew, on your question, I'll absolutely answer questions in the trading room. Always. We believe in, you know, have you ever been in a trading room? I was in one years ago, to give you an example. And when people would ask questions, the guy would say, if you hadn't been here for 3 months, you know, keep your mouth shut. We don't do that. You know, why would you treat somebody that way? You know, You just don't do that, okay? But keep in mind, what if you missed, you said, well, gosh, I missed that whole run there. You know what I tell my people to do? Wait for the change of trend because you'll normally get it. Let's see if we did on that one. I'm not sure, but let's find out. I'll put it on max. Line in the sand long short, kind of tagging it. See there? Little phantom trade. They're starting to break down. See there? Not quite yet. Midband still. There's your magenta midband right there. Trade setting up as we speak. Little dots. Could you take that trade there? That's called a midband trade. See the little power dot fired there? That's your trade. Now, I didn't turn it on, but you can clearly see that you could. Okay. What if you said, you know what? Let's go for another one instead. Let's go for trend power dots. Let's just see if we can get like 10 ticks or so. Hopefully I've got some more data. May not have done it for gold. I did gold earlier this morning, so that may be the extent of my data. We can go to an actual chart and see what it did though. It's the red dot. Well, basically the trend dot. Let me tell you how that fires, okay? We have found there's what we call the money spot, okay? The money band. See this little yellow band right here? The power dot will not fire unless it goes into that band. And Bob says, conspiracy theories is always a topic for Gary to get sidetracked on. I love conspiracy theories, by the way. If you lean like I do, you'll love my room. Okay? Most of my people do. Sometimes they tell me to shut up, but most times they go, wow, I didn't know that. But we don't share a lot of it. It's just more when we're not in trades. So anyway, basically though, these dots are on the shorter side. What they're looking for is from here to there. So when this gets a power dot anywhere even up near this phantom, it will fire that little red dot and it will fire the trade. Okay, so see, that trade worked out beautifully actually. See that red dot right there? Does the system work efficiently in the EU system or better only trade in the US? No, it would absolutely work in the European session. Because see, the whole thing, Mike, on your question there, you're going to learn to see totally price action, okay? We are swing traders. We look at swings. You know, again, what was the rule of thumb on a downtrend? You've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a lower high. Is there a reason to be out of this trade yet? Anybody have a reason to get out of that trade just yet? But what if it started stair-stepping a little bit on what we call the micro trend, and let's say it went like this, and then got a higher low than the low, let's say it did something like that, and then this. That would turn green and you could actually set it on lightning to take you out. And it'll get you out at a good spot. So we've got lots and lots of tools for you to use. And the beauty of our stuff too is that the way we've designed this, you can literally be, in the time I open that room, you can be long, you can be long, you can be short, you can be long again, you can be long again, you can be long again, you can be short, you know, because markets move and you want to get in on the right side of trades, right? So was this a decent trade? What did we say? Trust, wait for the retrace. Boom, there was your retrace right there. On the videos, Mike, I would just start with the latest one. I did a webinar last night. It's already on our trial site. Okay. Now, let me see if there's any other questions, because if you join the trial, it doesn't cost you a dime. There's no credit card taken and haha, we got your credit card information, nothing like that. You know, we just simply, you get a trial, and our system is automatic because when you sign up, it automatically generates a user ID and a password for you. Your user ID is your email address, your password is generated by the system, and it will, you'll just simply go, let me just show you how mine works. I'll just go to our site. Okay, you'll notice this is on the disclaimer right now. This is our home page, okay? By the way, if you ever want an Apex account, we've got discounts on those at all times. And right now they've even got $40 resets, which is pretty decent. But say I want to log in, for instance, okay? I just click log in and it goes right to my modules, okay? I've got my links for the week so that I can get in the trading room. I just simply click it. There's my links for the trading room. There's my links for the webinar. That was last night's webinar, so it's over, okay? I've got my video library. I've got my members area. I've got my scripts to download. Okay, I've even got Object Trader with Ninja 7 even in here. But let's say that you wanted to, for instance, just go into some of the older videos. Just click on the members area. Start with your welcome and everything. Okay, I've got trading manuals in here. Okay, you just simply go in here, trading manual, click on it. And this one was written a long time ago in 2015, but it's still relevant today because it is about trading swings. Okay, and Charles and I wrote this a long time ago, but look at these charts. We've had these charts for a long time. That's 8 years ago. Okay, we've also got, let me go back a little bit here. Also got an archive of videos. There's hundreds of hours of videos right here. You just click it, go to archive page, and there's a bunch of videos. And all you do is just click on the little download deal. Okay, so I can promise you that if you'll study some videos, you'll learn how to trade our system. Okay, but we also run a Monday night webinar. Every single Monday night, I run a webinar from 7 p.m. Central Time, and I run it until 8 o'clock Central Time. And there it is already. That was last night's webinar. Yeah, Andrew, on your question, you can absolutely set a mid-band trade to enter automatically. Now, one thing that I do with mid-band trades on automatic, let's say, for instance, that you had set it for this trade right here. Okay, it touched a mid-band and rolled over. Let's see if that one actually did touch. And it came close. I don't know if that would have fired on a mid-band without an offset, but it would fire with the trend dots. But let's just say it did do a mid-band trade. Your stop automatically goes at line 7. Okay, now as this starts trailing though, you just simply bring it to the swings. See, and you can do all that. Matter of fact, you can even run these little arrows and move your stop even if you want to. Okay, there is not enough time in a 1-hour webinar, believe me, to teach you everything about Viper, but there is enough time to show you that it works. Okay, because working is key. Okay, if a system works for you and you can make money every single day, then that's what you want. Okay, and with me at the helm, now keep in mind, I was telling you that I started this business with a business partner back in 2009. His name was Charles Boyle. He passed away last year. Really good friend of mine. We got along great. We were business partners since 2009. He got an aggressive form of cancer and passed away on September 28th of 2022. Okay, so we miss him. You know, he was a great guy to have around. He was just absolutely awesome and funny. You know, if you'd ever been in our trading room, you know that he's one of those good guys that actually does kind of like I do, makes fun of stuff here and there. Let me show you something here though. Bear with me a second. I'm gonna bring this over here real quick. How many of you have Apex accounts or Lilu or something like that? Sure, lots of you. Let me show you something here. This is actually right off of my dashboard, okay? I just simply blocked out my account number so nobody tries to guess my password and stuff like that. But look at this thing right here. A $50,000 account, okay, between payouts is at $103,531 with a P&L of $52.53 when I did this. This was the other day, okay? Could you make money doing that and not have to worry about drawdowns with Apex when you got that kind of an account? Absolutely. So that's what we teach right there. See, this is not bunk right here. Notice that that is my name right there. This is a rhythmic dashboard, and that is the P&L. And at the time in the morning, it started at 98,278. By the afternoon, it was to 52.53, so 103,531. Okay. Now, when you draw against it, obviously it goes down. So when you have an Apex account, what I highly recommend to anybody, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you on an individual basis, would be that you get well above $7,000 or $8,000 before you make your first withdrawal, because you got to have drawdown. Okay. Is there a limit on how much one can withdraw after you pass the evaluation? Well, you have to go through first month, second month, third month, and then you can withdraw all you want. The first month is like $2,000, but you can do it twice, so that's $4,000 per account. After you get to after the third month, like for instance on this, I could withdraw up to $53,531, but then I would lose my account because I would be at zero. So what you would do is you would want to only withdraw, say maybe 20,000 or something like that. Okay. Pretty good system. And I'm a pretty good trader to teach you all about it too. Well, thanks, Quincy. You bought 4 Apex accounts under my code. Thank you. We'll get you to pass them. I've got, for instance, I've got one guy in my room. I won't even mention his name or anything, but he trades NQ. And he called me up the other day when I was up like 3,000 for the day, and he said, "What'd you get today, Gary?" And I said, "I think 32." And he goes, "I got $14,150 on NQ." And I said, "No, kid." I said, "Wow." So did he learn to trade our system? I would say so. Okay, so any final questions? Because we're right at an hour. I like to keep these as short as possible. Oh, I want to show you something else though. At Viper Trading Systems, we are all about support. Very, very important to me. Ever since Charles and I met years ago, I was the one that was stuck with support, and I like support. Average win rate, Mike, in our room is over 90. Most of our people say that in my normal day of trade calling, I'd call over 90%. Okay, so, but what I want to tell you about right here is we're vipertradingsystems.com. Just go to our home page. If you want to take a free trial, just simply click the button here. If you want to join up with me, I'll send you a special discount code that you can come in for a better price since you're brand new. Okay, but I don't even care if you do that right now. I just want you to see us in action. Okay, we do have TeamViewer, so that you just click this, it pulls up a TeamViewer, and I can come into your computer and help you. Okay, I've also got contact right here. You'll notice that most every single vendor out there, no matter who you go through, don't you get irritated that they only have email addresses? Well, that's not so with Viper, because we have contact, we have a phone right to my desk. And that's not 24/7, but it is, if I'm available, I will answer the phone. Now, if it's late at night, I kind of look at it. If it's somebody from Australia or one of my people from Singapore or something like that, I'll probably answer it. But if it's a United States guy, you better call the next day. The reason for that is because I got to have some time to myself. Okay. So just a second, show how. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll do that. All right. Linda's letting me know that we want to show how you can get the webinar. I'll send the link out to it just as soon as we close this webinar today. But if you need to get in touch with me, you can simply put in your first, last name, email, mobile phone, write a message. It comes directly to my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, my son's cell phone, my daughter's cell phone. So we never miss somebody get in touch with us. If you call me, if it rings busy, just simply know that I'll call you back. You want to get a hold of us by email? Right there. You want to get a hold of me by Skype? I'm Viper Trader on Skype. Okay. We also have a little chat widget right here. You can just pop it up and you can go to chat support too. We do have a very updated website. Okay. Yeah, Apex passing, Quincy, I'll be more than happy to talk with you on it, because basically what you want to do, in my personal opinion, on Apex is get past what they call the threshold. Once you get past the threshold, they drop their drawdown down to 50,100 on a $50,000 account. You could see that was that way on mine. See how that says 50,100? So that gives me $53,431.90 drawdown. Pretty good, huh? Okay. So that's really important, because when you draw against it, you want to still have lots of drawdown that you can use just in case. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick how to get to the video. If you do take a trial with us, let me go to this deal right here real quick. We've got a trial. I'll give you a trial link that you can join up, but bear with me a second. Let me get on here. This pops up Facebook and everything else when I go on this one. No, not go to webinar. Go to leads. Let me show you real quick. Facebook messages popping up all over the place. Makes you love Facebook, doesn't it? Memberships, products. Here we go. Free trial. See, under the free trial, when you sign up for the free trial, now you don't have this module because this is my actual CRM management. But, you know, for instance, you can download your scripts and everything. You'll get a welcome from us. You'll get last night's webinar. Trailing stops once in a trade, keep those accounts funded. That was last night's webinar. So if you join the trial, you'll get that. But I will send out the webinar from today. We've got a little part of our site for marketing, and I'll send it to all 33,000 people that are on our email list. And so you'll get a link to the video from today. Now, what does everybody stay for? We don't have a drum roll. This was Charles's favorite. You want this one? We had a guy 13 years ago gave me a present because we were always saying, you know, that's the bell, you know, get out targets and all that. So we would do this when we'd get ready to take a target. As a cowbell, an actual Oklahoma cowbell. So that is the sign for the drawing. So let me have Linda do what we call a random generator, and she's going to come up with somebody that's going to get a year subscription at absolutely no cost. Okay, so bear with me a second. Give me about, it'll take about a minute because we got to do a generator. Just one second. Bear with me just a second. We got the generator, and now we're going to see where they're at on that list. Okay, sorry that took a minute because we got a whole bunch of people in this webinar, so we had to count down. So let's see if Quincy is still in the room. Let me look down the list. You haven't left, have you, Quincy? Quincy. Are you still here? Yep, Quincy's still here. Quincy, I won't say your last name unless you want me to, Quincy, but Quincy L. It generated your name. So, oh, okay. Quincy Lewis is going to be a new member of Viper at no charge for a year. We had a guy, matter of fact, a year ago that won, and he liked it so much that he became a full-time subscriber even after his year disappeared. So congratulations to Quincy, or a gavel like a judge, bong. Congratulations, Quincy. All you'll need to do is send us an email. Just simply go to or contact us, send an email to support@vipertradingsystems.com. Or better yet, Linda takes care of this part. Send it to viperlicensing@vipertradingsystems.com. Okay, and she will make sure that you get logged into our system. You do need to sign an indemnity agreement, and we need to set your computer up. And it'll take us a little bit of time tonight, so I'll set you up tomorrow after the room closes, if that'll work for you. And we'll just put you on as a subscriber, but you won't have to pay anything for a year. All right. We can email that to you, Quincy, if you'll give us your email address. Go ahead and type it in, and Linda's going to write it down. How did everybody like the webinar? I believe in teaching people to trade. Now, if you've heard the old adage that if you feed a man or a woman a fish dinner, they're going to just come back for more. I call that a certain class of people. We're not going to name what they are. Even the good book itself says if you don't work, you don't eat. So how about if we teach you to fish so you can feed yourself? I mean, just because I made, 50 grand on my Apex since the last time, that doesn't mean I owe anybody else a dime, right? This is not socialism. We're all about teaching people to fish so they can feed themselves. And there's nothing that'll make you more proud. I grew up in a time, I'm 70 years old now. My dad, when he asked me at 14 years old, he said, "Are you going to want a car one of these days, son?" And I said, "Yes, sir." "But I'm only 14. He said, "Well, you're going to need insurance. You're going to need to pay for the car." So he said, "Go out and get you a job." So I did. And when I turned 16, I bought his car. And I fancied it up with mag wheels and the whole 9 yards. I was so proud of it. You're more proud when you work. Guarantee you'll be more proud of everything. When it's just handed to you, it doesn't mean anything. Okay? So let's see. Andrew says, "It's really interesting. It seems like Object Trader has so many capabilities. I'm hoping I can earn enough money through your trade calls." I think you can. By the way, Object Trader even has trend lines, to give an example. If you want to take a trend line trade, let's say that this decided to break up later on. Maybe you wanted to draw a trend line. And all you got to do is tell the trader to take a long. If it takes out that, by going long here, long enabled, and if it takes that out, it'll take it. Okay? Got all kinds of things on here. Even got bar close. You can even take a trade based on the bar close. Oh, sorry. I'll show it to you. You can even draw a trend line on your chart. It's called wedge. You can even use it as to get out of jail free card, so to speak. Because, for instance, if this isn't going down much further, couldn't you just say, you know what? If you break this trend line right here, I'm going to take out all my contracts. So could you say, you know what? I've made enough on that trade. You can literally draw this trend line like that if you want to. If it takes that out by, say, 2 ticks, you get out of the trade. Real easy to use. Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I think you'll find our room to be very entertaining also. We have fun in there because if you will train your psyche to not get mad. How many of you have gotten mad at your trades before? Because I've talked to a lot of people. if you get mad when you're trading, you're going to lose money. So what you've got to do is you got to train your mind, and you've got to go, oh well, and then you look for another trade. Okay, because you're going to have a losing trade here and there. There's not a question about that. Okay, so everybody, thank you very much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I will get an email out to every single one of you with a link to this video, and I'll even give you an offer to come in without even taking a trial. If you want to just join up and get the real stuff and be a part of the team, I'll even offer you that and give you a discount for it too. Okay, so give me a while to craft up an email and I'll do that. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. And thank you for coming to an Online Trader Central webinar. Those are put on by Kathy. Some of y'all know her, I'm sure, because she's been around a long, long time. Not that she's old, by the way. She's been around since we've been in business. All right, everyone. Thanks very much. Have a good day. Bye.